Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, and actually, while we're waiting for Zoom to go ahead and just admit the rest of everybody into the call, which I actually think is all done now. Our families have indicated they're okay with cameras being on if you guys would like. If you want to keep them off, that's okay as well. But just whatever makes you the most comfortable. And it looks like we've got everybody in. So just very quickly, hi, my name is Jordan Moore. I am one of the aftercare coordinators here at Life Gift, along with Shannon Lennox and Janelle Pradia, who are also on the call today. It is an honor and a privilege to be here with everyone this morning. I know this looks a little different considering that our family meetings always happen in person, but given the circumstances, we're grateful for the opportunity to bring everyone together regardless of the weather or a pandemic or anything along those lines. This ensures everyone's safety, and we're grateful for this opportunity. I speak for myself and Shannon and Janelle when I can say this is easily, I think, our favorite part of our job, is bringing our families together, be it for the first time or, way down the line, when they have the opportunity to meet. So this is just an honor. We were listening to them speak and we were getting a little emotional. At this point, we were like, okay, we got to bring everybody in. But before we move on, a couple of housekeeping items. Just as a friendly reminder, we are recording this meeting with the permission of both of our heart recipients family and our donor family, who everyone is on the call today. Introductions will happen in a second. I believe Shannon will be conducting those introductions. We will have everyone's microphone muted as we do right now. If anyone has any comments or would like to just post anything for our families, by all means, please use the chat box at the bottom. And at this point, everyone should be able to see it. But if not, we can, of course, read them off. We can have a transcript of the chat box. So if anyone's got any warm words for our families, by all means, that would be the place to put it. And then, again, our families have indicated they're okay with cameras being on. If you would like, no pressure, whatever makes you most comfortable. Everyone else, we're all going to probably be on for the remainder of this call. And I think that's about it. Everyone's on mute. Yep, I think that's about it. So I'm going to stop talking for a second. I'm actually going to transition it over to Kevin Meyer, who is the president and CEO of Life Gift, for some remarks and a few kind words.
Great, thanks, Jordan. Can you hear me okay? The test? Okay, great. Thanks, Jordan and Shannon and Janelle for this. This is so exciting and such an honor to be here. So good morning, everyone. Welcome everyone to this very special event where we will see hope at the intersection of donation and transplantation. On behalf of Life Gift, our board of directors, our ambassadors of hope who are our volunteers, and our entire team of 325 lifesavers. We are so grateful for Mrs. Garrett and the Garrett family and Mrs. Bartay and the Bartay family spending time with us to honor Mrs. Bartay's son, Brandon. Mrs. Garrett's son, Brandon. Transplantation doesn't happen without the incredible generosity of donors and donor families. It's the most amazing example of goodness coming from horrific situations, and it's one of the most beautiful things that we are part of at Life Gift, is to have the opportunity to be present when strangers decide to help others through donation and just incredible humanity and generosity. We are so grateful for Brandon's gifts. We are so grateful for the generosity of your family, and we're also so thankful and so appreciative of the Bartay family and the Garrett family, you guys, who we'll learn more about in a little bit, which I can't wait for, being able to spend some time with us on a Saturday morning over Zoom. I guess it's obviously our new reality. Before I go on, I think it's really important for us to give a few words, offer a few words of encouragement and hope for all of those across Texas who are still suffering from the impact of this, really awful storm system. We also want to say thanks to all of our staff who have stayed operational throughout this situation, our hospital and transplant center partners, and so many in the community, families of our staff and so forth, who have allowed us to keep serving our mission. So it's so nice to be here with you all. It's so wonderful that you all are willing to do this. And I'll tell you guys, for all of us who work in donation, having the opportunity, like Jordan mentioned, to see you guys connect and to meet you, it's everything. It allows us to continue our important mission. It allows us to tell stories to other people who are donating about events like this, that this can happen. So enough for me. I'm so fortunate, I feel so fortunate to be here. Thank you for all of those involved. And now I get a chance to introduce a friend and colleague, Megan Woodard, who's the program manager of the St. Luke's Heart Transplant and LVAD program. So take it away, and I'm going on mute, Jordan, is that right? Okay, thanks you guys.
Thanks, Kevin. So I just want to briefly introduce myself. Kevin already did, but I'm Megan Woodard. I'm the program manager at Baylor St. Luke's Medical Center. And I just want to, echo Kevin's words and thank you to Mrs. Garrett and her act of kindness and selflessness, and the organ donation of her son, Brandon, but just on behalf of Baylor St. Luke's Transplant Center and all of the transplant centers around the country. We couldn't do what we do each and every day without our organ donors. And we just value each and every one of you. It's such an honor to be here today and to share this experience with you guys, and to see everybody on this Zoom call is amazing. It's a different experience than we usually experience, but to look at everyone on this call, it's such an experience. But our physicians wanted to be on the call today, so I do want to share their gratitude as well. Our medical director and surgical director are both actually in the hospital right now, tied up in an emergency, and they may join a little bit later. But Dr. Savatello and Dr. Shafi both wanted to express their gratitude and thank you as well. So again, on behalf of our transplant center, as well as all of the transplant centers around the country, thank you so much for everything that you do each and every day.
Thank you, Kevin and Megan, for your beautiful words. And so at this time, I'm actually going to transition over to Shannon, who again is one of our aftercare coordinators here at Life Gift and is easily the most pertinent person and was the most instrumental in bringing these families together, for just a little bit of background on Brandon and his donation story and introductions to his family and our families on the call.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is probably, out of everything I do in this department, this is probably the closest to me. I love this part of my job. I love all of my job, but this is the part of my job that I love the most. So I've had the honor of working with both sides for the last 3 weeks, and to be able to bring both sides together. So I'm going to keep it short. I'm going to introduce the family, and that way they can continue sharing Brandon and their story with us. So I have Brandon's mom, Chelsea, stepdad, his 2 nieces, his aunts, his brothers in the back, and then he has 2 sisters. If you can pan the camera, Chelsea, over to his 2 sisters again, and his 2 sisters. And I'll let everybody introduce themselves later. And then we have Brandon's aunt and uncle, Mr. and Mrs. Fields. If you can wait for us, Mr. and Mrs. Fields, this is Brandon's aunt and uncle. And then we have Brandon's cousin, Evan, over here, Evan. And then we have Mr. Duckett, Brandon's dad, on the call. Also on the call with us is LaChere Bartray, is Brandon's heart recipient, and with her is her mother, her sister, and her daughter. So I just personally want to say thank you for letting us be a part of this, and we'll let y'all continue on. If you at any time feel that the cameras on are too much for y'all, please let us know, and we will respect y'all and turn our cameras off. So Chelsea, do you want to share about Brandon?
Brandon, well, he was just Brandon. He loved life. He loved everybody. He had a heart of gold. He loved to just go. He was a free spirit, and he definitely loved his family. Anybody that he came across, he was going to take care of. And that's just how Brandon was. You want to add something?
He loved to share. That's what's beautiful about your name. That he loved
Oh,
to share.
that's cool. That's cool.
He loved to share.
Well,
Beautiful smile. He had a beautiful smile. You actually look like you be part of our family. So kind of cute. You look like a cross between my grandma and his meemaw and his mom, actually.
oh.
And my grandpa probably.
It looks pretty though.
She's very pretty.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. So are you. I've already said y'all two are some cuties.
Everyone is so cute.
Aw.
I know. I don't have a little girl anymore. Mine's big already.
That's cute that Avery, my best friend's daughter, and Evan, Brandon's cousin that's on here, Evan's my oldest son, they all grew up together. There's 3 of them. Kate looks like Avery. So,
Oh,
it's really
that's
cute. But,
neat.
it's very nice to meet you and to know, and to see Brandon alive. You know, still, I try to think of him as alive anyway.
Of course. Of course.
Because we love everybody.
That's right. That's right.
For them.
Mhm.
We pray for them too.
That's good. That's wonderful. Jesus loves you too. You make him smile.
Yeah.
It's like everyone smiles in the whole world.
That's right. That's right.
Just very happy that you get to be there for your daughter and your
I
family.
know. Yep.
So y'all are a close family like we are, and it's really great that
Everyone's family.
yes, everyone's family.
We all lived here in the same town for so many years. And just within the last few years, my youngest brother decided to move a couple of hours away, and now it's even further. So my sister, this is my sister Cheryl. Hi. She's the oldest and I'm the baby, and then the 2 boys are between us. And I don't like to say I'm the oldest. I say I'm the number 1. Yeah. I'm the oldest. Yeah.
To share. We can share every time if we want to share toys.
Oh.
So Brandon,
Well,
he had,
Brandon, what?
Brandon had, my sister had taken him to get an ID. He was going to start working, and he had lost his previous ID, and he came home and he said, "Madre, what, son?" He said, I signed up to be an organ donor today. And I said, that's awesome, Brandon. And never knew that we would have the chance to see him fulfill what he wanted to do. And actually the recipient of his right kidney was one of our church members. And Brandon spent quite a bit of time at their house.
Oh, wow.
Brandon had O positive blood, so he knew he could give to anybody. And he always made sure he gave blood. One of his main goals was to give blood because everybody needed his blood. He always let you know everybody needed his blood. And so he made it a point to do that. And actually one night when he was over at Jonathan's house, he knew Jonathan needed a kidney. And Brandon said, I'll give you one of mine. I can live with one.
Right.
And he may have just been joking. He probably wasn't, though. They probably just thought that he was just talking out of his head. But
Yeah.
but if he thought that he could have, done that and saved Jonathan, and he would have. And he got the chance to do that.
Oh my goodness.
Jonathan had a daughter, a teenage daughter as well, that needed him.
Well, actually, all his kids.
Well, yeah.
He has 3 kids, and they lost their mother. So he's all that Jonathan was all that he was.
How is he now?
He's doing great.
That's good.
He's a chef at a restaurant, right? They just
yeah, he owns his own restaurant. He's a chef, and
his dreams got to come true too.
Wow.
They just kind of did a remembrance of Brandon and all that stuff for him.
On all his menus, he has a picture of Brandon and says in remembrance of Brandon Duckett. And,
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
but Brandon, like I said, made that choice to be a donor, and through his terrible accident, God saw fit to make sure that he could do that.
He did.
Jonathan was at church with us on the Mother's Day that you mentioned when you, after your surgery, the Mother's Day.
Wow.
We're all with the.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We have to meet Jonathan.
Yeah. He told his doctors, I need to get out of here. I need to be at church.
Oh.
And he was there that morning. So but yeah, that's just how Brandon was. If he thought he could do something for you, he was definitely going to do it.
That's awesome. Well, it kind of hit me when you said, I'm glad you can dance again in your letter.
Oh yeah.
Because I love to dance, and I told my nurses all the time, I said, there's 3 things I want to be able to do when I get out of here. I said, I want to be able to dance again. I want to float the river and get on my paddleboard again, But our family, my dad had heart trouble and had a triple bypass and 3 heart attacks and a stroke, and never did we think that it was going to be cancer that was what was going to take him. And so that was a big surprise to us. But in our family, living so long with knowing about heart trouble and heart disease and things, it was still kind of a huge shocker to find out that I was born with a congenital heart disorder, never knowing about it all these years, and saying that I shouldn't have made it past my teenage years. And so when everything had happened, they came out and asked my mom if I had any children, and she told them yes, that she has 1. And they asked if I had her naturally, and she said no, by C-section. And they said, well, that explains it then, that, you know, because usually in a female, if it doesn't show up in the teenage years, it'll show up during childbirth. Well, I was spared at that time too, that I was able to have Avery and still be okay as a new mom. And I was always active, and I cycled on the highway 20 miles a day and went and lifted weights and things, and never had any indication that anything was wrong with my heart. And, you know, when I went in, I was 42 and had other surgeries, and never a question as to that I should have my heart checked out before this surgery. And luckily they were able to remove all of my cancer at one time, and not have to, you know, do radiation or anything like that. And it was a blessing that they were able to remove it all, because otherwise I would have had to wait 5 years before I could be put on a transplant list. And there wasn't any way they were going to let me go home, even on I forget what it's called, but an LVAD. Yes. And they said no, you know, and that I was too small framed for that even. And you know, the thing was then that they needed somebody that was small framed and same blood type for a match. But then it was going to be the antibodies that were really against me, because my numbers were so high, because I had received 70 plus units of blood with all the surgeries and everything. And with Brandon, he was a perfect match. Perfect. And that's all I ever asked for, was for God to find me the perfect heart. And I knew he would. And my doctors would come in and I'd tell them, it's okay. I know God already has the right one picked out for me, you know. And he did just that. And everything from day one has been awesome. No complications, no rejection. I left the hospital almost a month later. The day I came home, I got my braces to walk. And I was bound and determined to get out of that hospital. I didn't care if I just got those braces that day. I was leaving now. You know?
Awesome.
But it was sure a long road once I came home to learn to walk again, and all the physical therapy. And soon after I got my heart, when I was still in the hospital, I'd see other patients walking by my room that had received hearts, you know, and I thought, man, they got their heart, and yet I still have one more hurdle ahead of me of trying to walk again, you know. But it didn't take long. I think I got a brand new purple walker, and I think I only used it 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
And so I've been going strong ever since. I can dance now, and getting on my paddleboard is a bit of a struggle with balance, but heck, I'm out there on the water.
Awesome. If Brandon could have gave you his feet too, he would have, because
They're probably prettier than the ones I have now.
yeah. He liked to DJ for the raves and dance and
Love music.
loved the music. Yes, he did.
Yep.
And he enjoyed riding his bicycle on the trails with his friends, and just hanging with his friends. Evan was his, he and Evan worked together, so they spent quite a bit of time together. And actually, they were going to move in together that weekend. Brandon's accident happened.
Really?
And so.
Did it happen at night that someone just didn't see him, or what?
It's
about 2 o'clock in the morning.
About 2 o'clock in the morning, and it was misting.
It's raining.
And we don't know why she didn't see him, but it's still a mystery. But like I said, she drove a F Ford 150 truck that was jacked up. So
it had a guard on the front, those metal guards.
Yes.
So Brandon's head caught all the trauma, and God spared all his vital organs so he could share them. And that's what he wanted to do. And the doctors had told us, give us 48 hours. That would be the magical moment. He was going to turn around. And he didn't. Actually, things were getting worse. And I called Life Gift myself. And I asked him if his heart was to stop, would he still be able to be a donor for other stuff? And they told me no. So at that moment, I told him, well, in the morning, just do what you have to do to pronounce him, because I don't want to lose the opportunity for him to be able to donate like he wanted to.
Wow.
And so at 9:04 on that Wednesday morning, they pronounced him brain dead. And started preparing him for his journey to Houston. And we chose to go to Houston because it was flooding pretty bad. They were worried about the medical center flooding like it always does in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And or the surgeons being able to get out. So we asked them just to take him there, so that way we didn't, nothing could happen in transport, or, so his stuff wouldn't go to waste. And so myself and my oldest daughter and my best friend, who's like a sister, she never had any sisters, and Brandon's best friend, we made the journey to Houston, and we stayed there until that Saturday morning.
Oh, wow.
And kissed my baby goodbye one last time. And then we let him do what he wanted to do. That was save others. So it's been a long road. Tough
I'm
road.
sure it was.
At least he lives on.
He does. He does.
He would be happy, believe me, when he made it to heaven. He was telling everybody what all he had done and who all he had saved. And, because that was just Brandon. He was going to do it, and he was going to tell you he had done it. And he
loved to help.
Yeah, he loved to help. And
It just sounds like a very, very special person to be that young and just so willing to help all of his friends and anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
he was born to be special. You know, everything he did was just for others.
He was a sick little boy when he was a baby. He was in the hospital a lot. He had febrile seizures, but they didn't know what caused his seizures the first few that he had. So by 18 months old, he was in about a 22 minute long seizure. And
my word.
they really didn't, they had doctors, there was about, I don't know how many doctors in the room and nurses, and this baby's having a seizure, been in it for 20 minutes already. And one of the pediatricians came in finally. I love this man. And he said he's, you know, having febrile seizure. He figured out the situation. But anyway, so Brandon, you know, had a little struggle at the beginning of life and sometimes struggled through life, but he never quit fighting. He never gave up. He never quit loving. As a matter of fact, love is what made him. He just found such joy in loving others and helping my niece here. Well, both of my nieces and Brandon, all of us took care of our grandparents here in this house through their latter years. My grandpa had Alzheimer's for 12 years. Then my grandmother lived a year on hospice with cancer and stuff. And Brandon Lane Duckett and Alyssa, they were both her favorites. And they were both young, bless their hearts, but they were her number one caregivers. And she said Brandon could just put his arms, because we had to lift her and move her. And she'd tell me, because I'd get onto him, you know, if he didn't show up or something. You know, they're young kids and they're being caregivers for their grandparents, great grandparents. And I have to be the boss or whatever, the overseer, and I want to get onto him, not Alyssa really, but for not showing up. Oh, you can't. No, Brandon is my number one caregiver. He can just put his arms under me and just lift me like an angel. And well, there's nothing else you could say to that. Number one, she was really the boss, not me. Even bedridden, she was really the boss, and that's just the person that her kids are. Our whole family, but he was always very special. Yes, from every child is, you know, we all are, but we all, like you say, are probably given this job when we're conceived. You know, God already had that plan intact, and it's an honor to see you and to know you're okay.
Yep.
And that my nephew's okay. Because sometimes you have questions.
Right.
None of us questioned my sister when she had to make that decision. She was always there for me to do the medical part. Was for my grandparents was her job too, to make the medical decisions, and I always admire her for that, because it's not easy, the choice.
No, it's not.
And then to have to make that one, we all stood behind her. But it was hard, you know, because I'm his auntie, and but we knew that she knew what was right. And I went to an appointment, and because I would have secretively wanted to latch onto my baby and keep him, you know, but like I said, I know to follow my sister's choice. And I met somebody, and they knew my nephew, and they were like sad, you know, that he passed, of course, and couldn't believe it. And we were talking, and she said, your sister did the right thing, because if you would have tried to keep him on life support, he would have just wasted away into a prune, a vegetable. And she shared with me that happened to her dad, and instead of letting him be a donor and giving, they kept him on life support, you know, because he was a real strong, you know, and you have hope, and that he lived like that for 5 years. And that lady shared that with me. And so I always hold on to that, that we definitely did the right thing by sharing. And my grandpa taught me to be a donor, and I'm the one that was with Brandon that day that well, Auntie, am I supposed to be a donor? I was like, well, of course you're supposed to be a donor. Papa always says to check the box, that box.
Check the box.
Like I said, it was really hard for me to go through this because I hate to say it, but I'm probably the selfish one, obviously. I almost didn't want to be a donor anymore.
Oh no.
But getting to see how well you are.
Yeah.
Other people, even like I said, that are in this town that we know that he helped. I'll continue to check that box. My grandpa always said, "What if something happens to you once you're gone? You don't need that stuff anymore. There's people out there that need those body parts
right.
and can continue to live through your life." So
yeah.
I don't know if that will help y'all's program or not, because probably a lot of people go through that, emotion. When you lose somebody, it's kind of a natural thing, even though I don't like to think I'm a selfish person. I felt very selfish through that situation, losing Brandon, letting him go to be who he's supposed to be. But
well, I think in all families, there are ones that want to hang on to you, and
I'm sure your family was hanging on to you. Obviously.
Well, they were sent home to make the same decision about me. Yeah, I went in on a Tuesday, and by that Saturday, they were saying we need to make a decision. They said she would never leave the hospital. She wouldn't have her legs, she wouldn't have her arms. And I said, but she has her mind, right? And they said, yes. I said, well, we told our mom, you're not going to make that decision on your own. And I said, I can't do that to her as long as she has a mind. And for her being out, they worked on her an hour and a half to get her back. And she still had her right mind. I said, I can't do that. I can't vote to let her go because she had her right mind, and everything else was, I mean, you couldn't even walk into her room where she was at because there were just tubes and machines everywhere. And but she heard us, she blinked her eyes, and that was, we just couldn't do it because she still had her right mind. And I'm so thankful. We had doctors that told us, maybe we should let her go. And I'm like, no, we fought for that. And we wanted her to be able to make that decision. And I'm glad that we did what we did. And I prayed for months for her to get a heart, but I told God, but I hate to pray for this because I know someone will have to die. And when they told me she had a heart, I was so heartbroken for y'all because your son died and to give her life. And it just broke my heart. It was Mother's Day weekend. And it was just, y'all were probably more in our prayers than anything because our hearts just went out to you for your son. And we're thankful we have her, but we wish that Brian was still with you as well. We really do, because he just sounds like he was a walking angel, just the way he was. And for a young man to be 23 years old and be as sweet and kind as he is and as thoughtful, I mean, you have to really and truly be proud, because I'm proud just to know that we have his heart. Yeah, I really am. And I did pray hard for y'all. I really did. My heart just sank.
He's loving being there with y'all. It's like he's got all of his girls with him, So, got his Meemaw, because my Meemaw had red hair. And you look like my mom, and Charlotte and Cheryl are close because I get Cheryl on telephone calls all the time. So I'm she's the baby, even though she's the ball.
My mom's name is Laverne. So she took the LA from her name and then the SHER from Cheryl to get LaShare.
Awesome.
My daughter's middle name is Kay because I named her Hallie after one grandmother, and then I had to name her after the other two grandmothers. So Meemaw never got anyone named after her. She was Bernice or Bernice, and the other grandma's Catherine. So she's Kay and she used to hate that. She said, Mom, nobody has that name. I was like, no, because it's just your name. It's Catherine
That's
and
right.
Bernice together. And yeah, we do that. We do that here too. It's
Well, she was the last one, so we put all the names together.
All
Our
of
brother
it,
was
yeah.
Daryl and Neil,
Awesome.
so it's LaChère Danae. Yes. She was the last one.
that's awesome.
Keith, do you want to say something to her? Brandon was, of course, special to his dad. He's the only child that his dad has
Oh,
had. So
I'm so sorry.
Mr. Duckett, would you like to share about Brandon?
Can't talk, probably.
is he still connected?
Yeah, he's still connected. Mr. and Mrs. Fields, Brandon is your nephew. Would you like to share a story about Brandon?
I'm just glad that Brandon lives on and another family was able to keep their loved one. You know, that little process that we visited at the hospital when he donated his organs, I never seen anything like that before. And everybody needs to be an organ donor.
Yeah.
And we're just grateful for you guys putting this together for our families and Ms. Barte's family, you know, through a terrible tragedy, you know, it still, you know, came out to be a beautiful thing. And we're grateful that you get to still be with your family. But again, we're grateful for all of you for putting this together for us. So.
You're welcome. Evan, would you like to share about Brandon?
Not only was Brandon my cousin, but he was the best friend I ever had. And you know, we did everything together. We would talk for hours and hours and hours about everything and anything. But one of the things that he told me, one of the conversations that we had, was about, you know, his ultimate wish, which was to, you know, donate his organs, because we were on the topic of that. And I'll never forget, you know, just the enthusiasm of, you know, wanting to help somebody and be a part of their life. You know, he told me, you know, he said, you know, I just want to be a part of somebody's life. I want to help them. I want to literally be a part of them, you know, and he's with you now always. And, you know, he's a good guardian angel to have. You know, he's kept a lot of people, you know, happy, and, you know, he helped a lot of people any chance he could. You know, I wish I could go donate blood with him, but I was always too light. But no, it inspired me to do a lot of things that I do nowadays. And without him and his kindness and giving nature, I definitely wouldn't see life as I did now. And so I'm happy for you and your family, and, you know, for him to fulfill his ultimate wish. So I thank y'all and everyone. I thank everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Duckett, would you like to share about Brandon?
Keith wants to share, but
He can't get it unmuted.
he can't get it unmuted.
He's unmuted now. He's unmuted. It shows that he's unmuted.
Okay. He said he just wants to listen now.
Okay, he's just gonna listen now.
Okay.
Tell him to say it through your phone, Chastity. You don't want to listen? One more. Okay. Do you want to say something? Listen. Cheers. All right, Key. Key. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
It came on just for a second. He lit up just for a brief second. Would Brandon's brother or sisters like to say anything, Chelsea?
No, it's hard for them.
Yes, ma'am, I understand that. So at this time, we'll go ahead and does anybody want to say anything before I start closing out? Chelsea?
We're thankful for the life gift, for setting this up for us. We appreciate it. And,
Yes.
for taking care of Brandon's final wishes. We thank you guys for that.
Yes.
And for finding just the right people.
We'll do our best to take care of his heart for you too.
Well, you have a good one, and it's strong, and neither side of our family has heart issues that they didn't cause themselves, but but you have a good, strong one, and he was a strong boy, and I think he'll do you good.
Yeah.
So at this time, I would like to
okay with you all if you continue to stable color flowers every year to that donor's family. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
I was just wondering, is it okay with you all if we continue to remain in contact?
Oh, yes, please, because we want to meet you in person one day and hear Brandon's heart again.
Okay.
For sure.
And so I have passed each other's information on to each of you. I thank you both for not reaching out beforehand and letting us at Life Gift and at St. Luke's be a part of the first meeting. I do really appreciate that. So from now on, you're free to reach out to each other. And as Chelsea said, you know, the family plans on, you know, meeting you in person eventually. And, you know, we'll get to hear Brandon's heart, which I can personally attest to. That's probably one of the best things ever, to be able to hear your son's heart, your child's heart beat again. So at this time, I would like to personally thank Brandon's family, his mom, Chelsea, dad, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, and dad for letting us be a part of this beautiful ceremony. LaShare, thank you so much to you and your family for letting us share in this experience. I always say that until everybody sees the big picture, it's hard to see the beauty that comes out of the ashes. Unfortunately for the staff at Life Gift, they only see the worst. They see the families in the worst times. They don't get to see the beauty. So this is very important for the staff at Life Gift to be able to see that their work is not in vain, that what they do every single day does matter. Just like the transplant centers, they get to see the beauty every day of what a donation means. And so they get to see the family and what made the family decide to make that ultimate decision to say yes to donation. Today, both of you came in as two different strangers, two different families. And today I pray that you leave as one big family. Brandon was able to be an organ, tissue, and eye donor. Brandon was able to donate 6 organs to 6 different people. And I just want to, before we have a moment of silence to honor Brandon, I just want to, this is my favorite saying, and so I just want to share it with everyone else. Without the organ donor, there is no story, no hope, no transplant. But when there is an organ donor, life springs from death, sorrow turns from hope, and a terrible loss becomes a gift. And I always say the beauty out of the ashes is the recipients. So again, on behalf of Life Gift and St. Luke's, I would like to say thank you. At this time, we're going to do a moment of silence in honor of Brandon. Thank you, Brandon's family. And thank you, LaShara and her family. At this time, we will end this, and y'all are free to hang up from us, and you're free to call each other and make whatever arrangements. And we wish you both the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.